morning and welcome to the Amazing Race Bios Club. Today we have 5 contestants competing to answer a series of questions in 6 bios. Contestants will race to each bio and the first 2 to arrive will have a chance to answer the questions. Let's begin! Welcome to the lab class. Alright, so Vanessa was the first one to arrive. Vanessa, the question is, define gross production, net production, and biomass.
Alright. Gross production is the amount of organic matter or biomass produced by plants. Net production is the amount of organic matter produced by plants minus what's needed for plant respiration. Biomass is the total dry organic matter of living organisms and ecosystems.
Alright, so Gabby was the second person to arrive. Gabby, your question is, write the equation used to calculate gross production.
Okay, so this is what I got. Net production equals gross production minus respiration. Gross production equals net production plus respiration. And the units are kilojoules per meter squared per year.
Now for the second biome, the desert. Alright, so the first person to arrive was Siri. Siri, your question is, discuss the difficulties of classifying organisms into trophic levels.
Okay, first of all, organisms can be put into more than one trophic level, as seen in food chains. For example, secondary consumers can be put into the category of tertiary consumers, and also omnivores consume organisms from all trophic levels. And lastly, there may be seasonal changes in the trophic level depending on the food sources.
And the second person to arrive was Serena. Serena, your question is, explain the small biomass and low numbers of organisms in higher trophic levels.
Well, the problem is there's only about 10% energy transferred in a food chain up to the higher trophic levels. The rest is excreted or it's lost in heat, it's used up in respiration, or it's just not consumed. The nutrient transfer is also less than 100% efficient. Because of this, the higher trophic levels can only support lower biomasses. Also, because the higher order of consumers, they have to hunt their prey, so they lose energy already doing that, so they need more in the first place. And because they also need large quantities of prey to get the same amount of energy for themselves, because of this, there's also a lot of competition, and so there's lower numbers for that reason as well.
Welcome to the temperate deciduous forest biome. Alright, Amy, as the first person to arrive, here's your question. Outline the changes in species diversity and production during primary succession.
Okay, so species diversity will increase with the primary succession as the primary succession proceeds. So only a few species are capable of living in an environment where they've never supported life before, and these species are called pioneer species, and they include species such as lichen or moss. And production level will also be lower during the first stages of primary succession, but as the primary succession proceeds, production will also increase as more soil is introduced and more plants more plants grow with more soil, so the net production and the gross production will also increase.
Gabby, as the second person to arrive, here's your question. Distinguish between biome and biosphere.
A biome is a geographical area that has a particular climate and sustains a specific community of plants and animals. And the biosphere is the total of all areas where living things are found.
Here we are at our next biome, the shrubland. Alright, so Amy was the first person to arrive. Amy, your task is to construct a pyramid of energy given the appropriate information.
Okay, so a pyramid of energy is a graphical representation of amount of energy for each trophic level in the food chain. So as you can see, we have the most amount of producers, and then primary consumers, secondary consumers, and then tertiary consumers. So the pyramid energy is always never a inverted triangle, because as you go from to each tropic level loses energy. So usually the next tropic level is around 10th of the previous tropic level, because 10% of the energy is lost. And it's meant the unit for energy pyramid is kilojoules per meter squared per year.
And the second person to arrive was Vanessa. Vanessa, your question is, distinguish between primary and secondary succession.
Well, primary succession occurs when it starts an entirely new land without any established soil, and when the pioneer organisms that first colonize the area die and decompose, they form a new layer for future organisms to use. And on exposed rock and lichen, the lichen and moss may initially colonize and provide a layer of soil for the seeds to germinate and then create for a species diversity. And secondary succession occurs when the existing biota is removed from soil that's already formed, like from bushfire or earthquakes. And the dominant, it's usually dominated by the fastest growing plants.
Here we are at the next biome, the tropical rainforest. Siri, as the first person to arrive, here's your question. Explain the effects of living organisms on the abiotic environment with reference to the changes occurring during primary succession.
Okay, so primary succession begins on a fresh new area with pioneer species breaking down to form and create an organic soil. And as these new species colonize the area, the litter produced by their growth and decomposers will increase soil depth, soil contents, and aerate soil, and improve soil water retention. And this will eventually allow the growth of pioneer species and provide shade for the organisms.
Right, Serena, as the second person, here's your question. Explain how rainfall and temperature affect the distribution of biomes.
Well, temperature and rainfall are the most important factors in the distribution of biomes. They vary depending on latitude, longitude, elevation, and the proximity to water. Temperature is so influential because it affects the rate in their metabolism of organisms, as well as the changes in their life cycle. And then rainfall, on the other hand, is really influential because the amount of fresh water in soil, rivers, and lakes is really important to the growth and nutrition of organisms. And rainfall and warmer temperature are more common near the equator and less common at the poles.
Welcome to the final round. This is the tundra. In this round, as it is the final round, the first contestant to arrive will have a chance to win all or nothing. Alright, Amy, as the first person to arrive in this all or nothing round, your question is, outline the characteristics of 6 major biomes.
Grassland. So the temperature of the grasslands are generally warm, from 20 degrees to 30 degrees. Seasonal droughts are common, and there are medium amounts of moisture. The vegetation consists of widely spaced trees, and fires prevent trees from invading. Desert. It's hot in the day, more than 30 degrees, and cool at night, less than 0 degrees. There's low precipitation, less than 30 centimeters per year, and the vegetation of desert are adapted to water conservation. Shrubland. So the temperature is moderate, from 15 degrees to 25 degrees. They have rainy winters and dry summers. They're dry and woody shrubs. They all regrow quickly as fire is a constant threat. Tropical rainforest. The temperature varies from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. It has very high precipitation, more than 250 centimeters per year. There's large diversity in species, such as epiphytes, tall trees, and undergrowth. Tundra. Freezing temperatures can be found here of less than 0 degrees Celsius. There's very little precipitation, and the vegetation is small and close to the ground, like moss. Also, perennial plants grow in the summer. The temperate deciduous forests. In the temperate maritime, which is the coastal regions, they have wetter conditions needed for tree growth. These are found in American, European, and Asian coastlines. is found in the mid-latitudes along the coast. And the trees grow well, although not as tall as in the tropics. Leaf fall occurs in the autumn as the cold conditions lower the rate of photosynthesis.
Alright, Amy, guess what? You have won the Amazing Race Bio Style!
Yeah!